Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the top 25 non-galactic legend characters in Galaxy of Heroes. According to basically my own opinion, I am swayed though, by arguments I see in the comments, people tell me otherwise, and my own experiences. And even if a new character hasn't come in to supplant other characters, the order will change from time to time based on my own mind, if I am convinced. Now, I had been doing them like every quarter. I've got a little bit away from that. Last time I did it was March 2025, so there has been quite some time in between. So for this one, I wanted to start by just giving everyone, all the commenters, exactly what they want whenever they comment on my top 25 rankings. And that is Gas at the bottom, the worst character in the game, and Ezra number one, absolute best character in the game. This is the only ranking you need. But of course, I'm just kidding. I do have a full ranking. I try to look at all game modes, and they're not weighted equally in my mind, but I do have like Grand Arenas up higher, Territory Battles way down low in the consideration. Conquest, I think, is actually pretty important. TW is meh. But just trying to gauge overall the value of each character individually. When there's full teams and the leader's the most important thing, but it's like a whole team effort, it's kind of hard to gauge. But anyway, who is out from last time? Commander Luke Skywalker. So Commander Luke held on for quite a while. Still think he's a great character, very useful character for beginners. You can get one assault battle done with him. He's pretty good. He's amazing in Conquest. Like him, Han, and Chewie, fantastic in Conquest. But it's a full team effort. It's all three of them working together to make that go. And Han and Chewie fell off quite a while ago, and CLS had just been hanging on by a thread. So it's time for him to see himself out. And now for 21 to 25, we have Jedi Revan, Captain Rex, Jedi Master Mace, just kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt, putting him in. He is a good offensive character. He does seem strong. He's just pretty one-upped by Traya in Grand Arena, which is giving him a very bad public impression for his first few months in the game. And then Jedi Luke falling a little bit. He was in the top 20 now. Number 21 still has uses. All these characters, they're quite useful. They're just not really juggernauts in their own right. I mean, Traya, if this was Grand Arena only, I would put her a little bit higher. Because her Omicron is just fantastic, just like unbelievable, and has really stood the test of time with her buddy Savage and Nihilus, and sometimes Darth Sion, but a lot of times Talon. You can put anyone else in there, and she's just one of the easiest end game teams to acquire. Probably the easiest, honestly, if you think about it in terms of Grand Arena. Captain Rex, I still contend he's extremely valuable because of his tags, not only with Phoenix, but with clones, and with Rebel Fighters, and with Leia. He can just do anything. So he does merit a top 25 spot. Jedi Revan, probably the next one out the door. I love Jedi Revan. I think he is super useful with his mark and the turn meter swap. He's a very good support role character for Jedi. And his lead, I've been able to beat a lot of different Galactic Legends. On my small account, I've been able to beat Springler Kylo, Rey on off occasions, and Jedi Master Luke pretty routinely. I think that might be it, but still, like, his value is very clear, and he is just probably the best non-Galactic Legend Jedi leader, just for Jedi. I mean, Jedi Cal, I have ranked higher than him, but he's not a better leader. Jedi Luke, well, yeah, I think he's got a better leadership than Jedi Luke. Jedi Luke is pretty occasion dependent. For the assault battle, like ground war, that's going to have extra use for him. And then in the old GOTB, he was very important. But since then, not quite as important. Jedi Master Mace, I don't have him yet. I've only ever used Traya to beat him. But he does have quite a bit of power behind him. And he is in the raid. He's a valuable team there. He can 3-man, so that deserves something. So that's 21 through 25. And 16 through 20, we have a bunch of characters that got knocked down exactly one spot from the place they were before. And that's, kind of the whole picture here is a bunch of characters that got knocked down once. So Traya would have been knocked down a little bit further, but it's like effectively I bumped her up because someone got squeezed up above her and then she just kind of held water. Jedi Master Mace, like these two are here. Whoever was, it was someone around here last time they were going to see later on the ranking. I think people will be happy. But anyway, Darth Moff Gideon, Darth Revan, Darth Malak, Jedi Knight Cal, and Jar Jar. So all of these characters, except for probably Darth Moff Gideon, have one thing in common. They need a lot of other really strong characters to work, and they can fit into frameworks that are either partially or pretty much all there before they get there. So Jar Jar, before you unlock him, you can use, those 4 Gungans, and they're going to do just fine. They got a lot going for them. They have their tank, they have their damage dealers, they have a good support in Boss Nass. Jar Jar really just ties it all together and makes them a much more elevated team overall. They're extremely annoying to deal with. I would take them over pretty much any team that's below here. They probably have trouble with Traya specifically, but they're valuable across the board. And until recently, they did have a raid. Jar Jar is just super annoying with his frustration, his death. He is the epitome of annoying. It was a very good kit design how they made him, because when you're losing to him, it's just very aggravating. But he is quite strong. Jedi Cal, I wish I could put him higher. He does so much he's got like a really great support role. His mechanics, he decreases enemies' offense, he inflicts armor shred, he cleanses, Terminator swaps. He's like a Swiss Army knife, and he does get that insta-kill. He's just pretty stupid on defense. You can't like tell him to like alternate stances so he actually gets to his insta-kill. So the fact that he is limited to pretty much offense only knocks him down a peg. But he's super valuable across 4 TB. And the fact that his Omicrons are TB is what I love about him. Him and Darth Moff Gideon, I don't have any Omicrons on them, but they're still really nice for me in Grand Arena, which is the best game mode. Malak, super useful. I just got him on my small account, and he does enable... He's part of like the most accessible team that you could beat Challenge Tier 3 of the Sith Assault battle with, so he does have value there. The constant fear and life drain. He's pretty plug and play. I mean, any Sith team, any dark side team, you can make it work. Even a random mixed team, he's just like a go-to tank. And Conquest, he's fantastic, because Conquest, the enemy teams are so fast, and they just go first, and then they can just rout you. But he kind of has that interruptive quality to him, where he's going to get fear, and then they're kind of gonna get knocked down a peg. They're gonna miss a whole turn, reduce their they're gonna increase their cooldowns, and it's nice. Darth Revan, I still think he has a lot of value in his own right with the death mark. He does a lot of damage. I got by on my small account with him, just him, no Malak or Malgus for a long time, and I was able to do some great stuff. I was able to beat Great Mothers on that account. I was able to beat, I think, Traya like that way. Tuskens with their Omicron. A lot of good stuff with just Jedi Revenant now. And then Darth Moff Gideon. I put him a little bit lower, but he's amazing against Terminator trained teams. It's just Terminator trained teams are not like the way things are going. It's like the old way things were, and everything is just moving away from Terminator loops and all that. So he doesn't have as many targets, and he does ride the bench for me more or less frequently. In Grand Arena, sometimes he might be the very last team I use, or second to last, but still a fantastic character, and in his own right, he just elevates the team so much. I mean, incredible tank, incredibly durable, revives everybody, Terminator reduction. I mean, the fact that he revives everybody, and he can revive himself, he's just very sneaky, just really awesome character. Next, we have 11 through 15, and there he is, Luthen, up 9 spots. I did have him at 22, and this is what I was talking about. Traya was, well, she was like 21. She would have been knocked down twice, but I decided to give her a bit of a bump herself. But Luthen, yeah, I mean, if you watch my recent Grand Arenas, I have had some incredibly frustrating battles against Luthen, and it's not Datacron dependent. It is just any random Datacron not doing much at all. He's incredibly frustrating. I don't know how much of an independent Galactic Legend killer he is, but he can go with either Mon Mothma or Saw. I think Saw is probably the best, and that's how he's mainly used in Kyber 1. But that guy that he brings back over and over is such a little cheat. He's basically an attacker. He does good damage, but he's acting as a tank. Because he's like a Night Sister zombie, because he always comes back. He's marked, and he does good damage, and you can't do anything to Luthen while he's there. So I got it down to just Saw and Luthen, and I was just losing my mind because it was just so hard to get anywhere with the frequency that little soldier guy came back. So I bumped him up to 13. I think that's kind of fair considering who's ahead of him. Queen Amidala is ahead. I gave her bumps overall. So I think she was like, maybe I had her at 14 last time, but she's not Datacron dependent, but she is an excellent Datacron leverager. So it's a fantastic team. Her whole team in its own right in both 3v3, 5v5. In TW can also have some use. And then in TB, it's surprisingly useful. Conquest, it's really nice. Very hard to get. But anytime you have an extra person like Luthen, it's incredibly annoying. Her decoy is just so overpowered. You can't do anything to it. You have to kill it. And if you have any kind of survivability stats at all, any bonuses, it's just incredibly annoying. I did give Darkseid Rey the nudge. I don't want to give her too much clout based on... So at the present time of recording this, August 2025, for the past couple months, there's been a focused Datacron for Darkseid Rey, where she takes a bonus turn anytime any opponent does anything. And it's extremely soul-crushing, just how strong it is, overpowered. But she is really nice at elevating Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. I just think Supreme Leader Kylo Ren was already pretty good, pretty independent without her. She just really elevates it. Starkiller, I kind of left... this is exactly where he was last week. I let Maul fall below him, but otherwise, I didn't bump him up at all. I think he's awesome. He's really good at countering multiple different GLs in Grand Arena, for smaller accounts especially. But he does kind of just go with Malicos on my main account to be a supporting role or an extra attacker and do a lot of stuff. And his whole unique isn't active. The fact that he is pretty much Grand Arena only, and then TW, if you have Johani Omicron, he can be fine. It does go against him. Now Maul. I've been a little down on Maul lately. Whenever I do roster reviews, I will react in shock when I see certain characters at low gear, like 1 star, gear 1. Or not 1 star, gear 1, level 1. And lately, when I see Maul and someone has him gear 1, level 1, I'm like, that's fine. I mean, you don't have his team for him. Right now, he kind of fits mostly with like a Darkseid Mandalorian team, which makes sense, and they're nice. So that's why he is 15, and he is a great lifter to Lord Vader, but Lord Vader has a whole new team. I don't always find a use for Maul in my endgame Grand Arena, so I just have been a little bit down on him. I don't think I could put him above Queen Amidala or Luthen or Darkseid Rey. Starkiller is like... maybe, but I do find Starkiller is more useful for taking down Galactic Legends as the main threat than Maul. Maul can kind of do, like, I guess, Sith Eternal or JML maybe, but those are the weaker ones. So, anyway, that is 11 through 15. And getting into the top 10 now, 6 through 10. Gotta move myself up in the corner to make room. We have Malicos falling out of the top 5. Bo-Katan treading water at 7. That's where she was last time. Great Mothers up a couple spots. General Skywalker down 3, so I think one of the most frequent comments I get anytime I do one of these reviews is that I have him too high. Maybe we're getting closer to a spot that most people can agree on, and then Malgus falling down 1. Gas, like the biggest value point for him that I think is a little underrated is he's Omicron free. He does the same thing in every game mode. He can beat Rey in TW, in Grand Arena, if you get the right setup and you play it right. But he's also a fantastic support Jedi. I've been putting him with Queen Amidala in 5v5 last season with that support Kron because I kind of dismantled his team, and there was a huge target with Rey and the Barriss Kron that needed extra targets, or needed extra firepower to take down, and gets fantastic for that. The double attacking, the AoE, the armor shred, you can't crit. If you have him on your team, no one can crit if you have the Zeta. No one can crit when they attack in a turn. Things like that. He is just a consummate valuable character, double tagging every time, just whatever team he's on. So whether you want to put him with the Fire First clones, which is pretty good, he's a good solid defender and on offense. He's a pretty safe bet against a lot of teams that you have a lot of trouble with otherwise. Like I saw Luthen team, he's pretty good at taking that down, whether it's in TW or Grand Arenas. Grand Arenas where there's the Omicrons, so that's more important. And he's an off chance to beat Queen Amidala, but Queen Amidala has her full team going for her, same as him, but I'm still holding on to my General Skywalker in the top 10. Malgus falling a little bit too. Malgus doesn't seem like the juggernaut that he did seem like when he came out into the game, but he is a pilot to one of the most valuable ships in the game, Fury, and he's just kind of a super valuable team on offense now. He used to be just such a defender, but pretty much any team that comes out now, he is uniquely suited to take them out in a lot of ways with all the crit avoidance and this shock and doubt. So turn meter control, he's not turn meter reliant. He got big hits from his big bunny hop, and then Malik 2 with his life drain. So there's a lot of boxes he checks off that makes him a very useful counter team. Almost exclusively non-GLs, although there's some GLs that struggle to beat him. So Green Mothers up a couple spots because I did have them a little bit. I think I had them ranked 7 at one time, but that was kind of tainted by an overpowered Datacron for them. But in general, just extremely valuable. They have PvE value. I mean, they can trivialize most teams in TB. They can get their assault battle done on the Night Sister Secrets and Shadows. They are making Galactic Legend Ahsoka a joke on defense. You can beat any iteration of Galactic Legend Ahsoka in 5v5 with Great Mothers. In 3v3, not quite so much. But just, I mean, the mechanics are broken. You go first. You remove all their protection, and they are literally doomed. It's such a well-named mechanic, doomed. Once you get it, unless you're a GL and it basically does nothing, it's gonna melt you away, and you're gonna be a sitting target. You're a sitting duck, and you just get obliterated. Very hard to kill. Of course, having the support of Morgan Elsbeth is mandatory to keep Great Mothers alive, but it's kind of like Dark True Malkavian, but better in that they're a TW Omicron unit, but just dominate anywhere else too. So those are kind of the best value characters where you don't need Omicrons for them. But those Omicrons in TW make her even more of a nightmare. Bo-Katan is still at 7. I mean, really useful character. Probably the best. I mean, her and Queen Amidala are kind of tied for the best non-Galactic Legend light side teams. And you can mix in a lot of different types of stats or mechanics to make the team elevated. She was able to dominate Lord Vader, but with the clones, it's a bit more hit or miss. Still a really strong character in her own right, and once they get up those stacks of Ancestral Resolve, you can kind of forget about it. Malicos, one of my personal favorites. He might be getting the General Skywalker effect a little bit because I do love him so much. I mean, the damage output, the savior mechanics, his 2 uniques are quite impactful across the board, and just the damage is something like you can't see anywhere else in this game. I mean, and it's not even really like dependent on a Datacron, but it is dependent on his Omicron. So he is mainly Grand Arena character. And, a lot of times he teams up with Starkiller to get things done. But I think I'm fine with putting him at this point for now because they can be, a high-end Rey team. So Rey, sometimes even with Ezra, is fine. In 3v3 especially, if you can use Starkiller's unique or make use of it and meet all the conditions. Just a fantastic character. He's someone that I'm going to favorite as soon as I'm getting close to unlocking him on my small account from Proving Grounds. I'm more excited to work on him than Queen Amidala, Malgus, Luthen, any of these characters. So that's why I personally have him at number 6. Let me know what you think. And finally, for the biggest top 5 shakeup in a while, I did put Ezra Bridger Exile at rank 2. So the only other place you can get, the only place up from here is taking on Bane, which I just am not willing to do. Although defensively, I mean, it's like offense versus defense. Ezra is one of the most annoying, powerful defensive characters in this game. Potentially the most. I actually would say the most powerful defensive character in this game that's not a Galactic Legend. And he takes his pick. Basically, any light side Galactic Legend that we have in this game can make use of Ezra Bridger, except for, like, Leia. He's done it with Rey. He's gotten it done on defense with Rey, with Ahsoka, with JMK now. You can put him with JML too, and he'll be pretty decent. Although his exile mechanic kind of clashes with how JML works. But in this 3v3 season, people have been throwing JMK, Cat, and Ezra together, and it is a nightmare of a team. It is insanely difficult to beat. Very few counters. It's just, I mean, Galactic Legend Rey is what I've been using. Which, by the way, Ben Solo, I don't have him on this list. Do you think I should have him somewhere on this list on the lower end? Let me know what you think. He's valuable, but he's really just complete support unit to just one character. Whereas Cat, JMK needs Cat more than Cat needs JMK. And you can put Cat with Rey. You can put her with a Padme team. You can put her with a Dash team some people use. Just all kinds of teams you can use with her stat boost or insta kill. Make her just fantastic. And again, not Omicron dependent. So she still is in the top 5 at number 4. But going back to the Bane Ezra dynamic, Bane, you can't do anything really with him on defense. He has to go on offense, but he's the only character on this list that doesn't need a team. You just put a random Sith with him and he gets it done. He can beat a lot of GLs out there. You know, JMK Cat is an exception. But you can beat Ahsoka, you can beat Leia, you can beat, I think, Jabba, I don't know. But all kinds of characters. Sometimes you can beat Supreme or Kylo with him, and he's one of the only options to beat that overpowered Darkseid Ray Datacron right now. But it's just offense versus defense, and the fact that he needs no team, he needs no help. Whereas Ezra is amazing, but he's only really doing things with other Galactic Legends. So Bane is number 1 for me for now. Reva, you know, I do think she is like one of the biggest forces out there on her own. She does beat a couple different Galactic Legends, but she does typically want some help from some kind of Datacron. But what's so valuable about her is the variety of tags. We got Inquisitor, we got Empire, we got Unaligned Force User. So the chance that she's going to have a really good Datacron available to her is quite high. So it's kind of like Captain Rex. Like, all the tags make them both quite valuable. And Commander Ahsoka Tano too. I mean, she's Galactic Republic, she's Scoundrel, she's Ufu. Balin Skulls rounding out the top 5. He is just pretty formidable. I mean, he is not useless in TW. He's a Grand Arena character first and foremost, but in TW, you get that Shin Omicron, it is quite difficult to beat. And there's a lot of different options. He doesn't need like a specific like Mercenary or Ufu Kron to make him really good, but it doesn't hurt. And any kind of dark side Gron really boosts him up. His stats, any stat really amplifies the team. Just crushes JMK in most cases in Grand Arena, which is quite rare. And just among non-Galactic Legend teams, him and Bo-Katan are kind of like teams that can beat almost any non-GL team, depending on how you set them up. So Reva, I don't know if I'm overrating Reva at this point, but she just coming back to life 3 times, the Death Mark, the Purge, I don't know, just the insanity. And then in TW, they're still really good too. In TB, I can pretty much throw them in and get it done, put her on auto, not worry about it. Just, I don't know, crazy team. So yeah, that's it. Ezra Bridger bumped all the way up to, or hopefully I don't get as many hate comments about Ezra. Not hate, but like people would just be so up in arms about how I'd rank Ezra Bridger for the longest time. But he is super GL dependent. That's the only knock I have on him. But let me just elaborate a little bit on what's so annoying about him. He just is a character. He wants it all. He wants damage. He wants to be a tank. He wants to be a support character. He wants to dodge everything. So he's a tank that he only has resilient defense, which you can get rid of by hitting him, but you have to hit him. What's his mastery goes up? Since he has dodge mastery, You just can't hit him eventually. You can't assist on him if he has exile. I thought it was just permanently. I think it's been pointed out to me he has to have exile on him to not be assistable against. But just not being able to assist on him, it's just so crushing. It's just so demoralizing. Like, that's so ubiquitous in this game. Everyone calls assists, and that is just such a main way of dealing damage. Other than that, you just have big single target hits, and it's really a pain. He does like this he does like AoE ability block. He will exile someone else, and they're pretty much neutered at that point. They can't really do anything. He's the most annoying character in this game. It's crazy, and it's that annoyance is just because he's really good, and that is what he's all about. So this is my list. Let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you for the next time. Bye.